Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dia and I appreciate you stopping by. Today's video is going to be a planner update flip through on my 2023 B6 Full Year Common Planner by Sterling Ink. So I've had a chance to use this planner for a few weeks now, and to be honest with you, it was not the best start. When I first received the planner, I fell in love with how it felt in my hand and I could not wait to use it. My only concern was this cover because it is so thin and delicate. But I have been keeping it in the clear cover that she sells as well. And although I don't love the cover because it doesn't fit like a glove, it's protecting it until its true cover arrives. I was really excited to get started in this planner, so as soon as it arrived, actually not as soon as it arrived, this planner intimidated me a little bit, so I probably waited a couple weeks. But I started to set it up and get it ready for the year by putting in my word of the year, some decorations. I did my goal setting and my current me and future me, and then I had also planned for the month of December in here. Everything was going good up until I was ready to plan in this for the first time in the weekly pages. But before I get too far into that, let me just show you a couple of things that I'm using in this planner. One is these brass tabs by Midori, and I'll leave the link down below. They're very minimal. They slide onto the pages. You do have to be a little bit careful because these pages are so thin. So you just need to make sure that you don't accidentally crinkle the page. But I have 4 of them on the side, and then my daily and weekly are up here on top. Because they're not labeled, it just makes it easier to go ahead and flip to these 2 pages from the top because those are the ones I turn to most throughout the day. I have also been using the Platinum Preppies in Fine in this book. It's not too thick, not too scratchy. I absolutely love this pen, and I am using this sketch ink in it that is waterproof. You'll see a little bit later on, but the main color I'm using is Lily, and then the accent color that I'm using is Jewel. Let's go ahead and get started with this flip through and planner update. So this was January. I didn't really care for the way I laid this out here, but it is what it is. Pretty simple. I don't really keep track of anything in here besides appointments and important dates like our birthdays. And I'm not afraid to cross things out. Things change. I don't always white them out. And sometimes I like to see when something was supposed to happen. So I go ahead and keep it in here. Next are the weekly pages, and this is where things kind of went wrong for me at first. So I accidentally spilled, I think it was enchilada sauce on one of these sections here. And then the first thing I wrote it in with the wrong color, I think. And then I went over it with the color I meant to use, and it just looks horrible now. So those were like 2 mistakes I made right off the bat. Somebody on Instagram made me laugh because they said this is either kind of a look at what's to come this year, or I got it all out of my system on day 1. And I feel like I got it all out of my system on day 1 because I am loving this planner. I love this planner as much as I loved my Hobonichi cousin, but the same with the Hobonichi cousin, I fight with this paper a little. Sometimes this paper and I don't always agree. Things take a little bit longer to dry on it, and I'm not sure what the difference is between the Common Planner paper and the paper in the Wonderland 222, but I feel like the Wonderland paper, it's a lot less smooth and slippery, and I feel like my ink dries a lot faster on it. They say that they're the same paper, but I believe Wonderland says white, so I have no idea if that changes things, but the paper is not the same in here as it is in the Wonderland. I'm using this to go ahead and track my days. This is usually not too much pre-planning. I use it to document what I did throughout the day and to make sure I'm staying on task. And over here, I decided to keep a little self-care tracker, and down here I'm putting what I want to focus on during the week, and at the bottom I have my dinners as I always do. So this is the first weekly layout that I completed in this planner, and I thought it ended up turning out pretty well. And then I'll show you the rest of the weeks too. The only difference with this week is instead of doing dots with my Tombow marker, I went ahead and started doing check marks because I can never get my dots to look consistent. So I thought I would try check marks out. There are a couple of things that I wish were a little bit different about this planner. One of them is I get up at 4 in the morning, and I know that's not something that a lot of people do, I guess, but if this had a little bit earlier of a start time, that would be perfect for me. And also the grid. So I don't know if this is just my old age and my poor eyesight, but I'm really struggling to see this grid if the room isn't well lit. And I also struggle to see it if there's something dark on the previous page. I'll show you guys a little bit later in my daily pages. So it's Friday right now. I haven't filled in the rest. This is where I've left off so far. So the weekly pages have been working out for me. The only other thing that I wish is that these columns were a little bit wider. In the Hobonichi Cousin, they're about 1 grid space wider, which is absolutely perfect. And it's also about 1 grid space wider in the Wonderland 222 because she stacks Saturday and Sunday. So if this planner had a stacked Saturday and Sunday, making these wider, that would be perfection for me. Okay, let's go over to the daily pages. I think I showed this in my previous video, but I started on December 26th, and I was going to kind of set this up how the Hobonichi page looked, and I went ahead and started to write in what I needed to do for the day. But because it was the holidays and my son was home and my daughter just moved back home, I just wasn't spending too much time in my planner. So for the next few days, I just did this in a list style like I used to do in my Wonderland, and made a list for each day because I just really didn't have time to be in my planner. And that is one of the benefits of the Sterling Ink planner, is that all of these daily pages are blank. So you can skip days and not have any wasted pages. You can change up your design whenever you want, and I like that creativity without it being too overwhelming in an A5 size. I went ahead and printed this calendar up from Sterling Ink on Tomoe River paper, loose leaf paper. My printer messed up, but I went ahead and put it in here anyway. I think from now on I probably won't be tipping it in like this because it's acting weird. I'm going to stick it onto the page, but I didn't think about putting this in here until after the fact, and I didn't want to cover up this page, so I just tipped it in. Does that make sense? Then I got started really using this planner on January 1st. So the first thing I did was kind of made it like the Hobonichi, and I put a timeline over here on the side, and I thought I would go ahead and keep track of my husband's and my daughter's schedule over here, so I would know when I had time alone to record or work on my own stuff. And then over here, I started keeping track of my meals. I'm putting a little positive quote at the top every day, and then I had my to-do list, and then just a tiny bit of journaling. It was on day 2 that I decided I don't need that timeline over here, so now it kind of looks like Coffee Monster Co.'s planner setup. I try to kind of mimic hers. So I'm still writing the date at the top. I'm writing in a quote, and then the difference is over here I move the to-do list to the left-hand side. I am just dividing this right down the middle, and I'm using this pen right here to draw any lines in because I feel like my fountain pen line is just a little bit too heavy. That's the Sarasa clip in gray brown, if you're curious. Okay, so I have my to-do list on the side. I still have my meals at the bottom, and then I'm taking this whole section to kind of journal. And I have a traveler's notebook that I do kind of all my deep thoughts and feelings journaling in. And I just thought I would kind of keep this as like a fun reference to look back and see things. I also hate when I'm trying to make a video for you guys and I have to cover up things that I wrote in. One, it takes way too long to try to blur out different parts of the page. And two, I love to see other people's methods of journaling. So I just thought I would allow you guys to see mine too. There's nothing too deep in any of these things, just things that happen throughout the day. Over here, I did a little bit of drawing and just putting in things like I started rereading The Miracle Morning. I attempted to make the same vodka pasta my son makes and it just did not taste as good. My daughter and I started watching Ginny and Georgia again. Just little things like that I'm putting in here and little drawings every now and then. Some days my to-do lists are a little bit longer than others, but I have the space there if I need it. And again, it's not like an A5 though, where I just have too much space. At the end of the day, if this journaling section is kind of blank, I can throw in a sticker and it takes up a good portion of it, and I don't feel like I have to spend a lot of time coming up with stuff to put in there. On the 7th, I decided to start drawing a line over here for my little tick marks, and I think I like how that looks. I thought I would put a little picture to document the day here, and I do not like the way this turned out. One, I used my Canon Ivy, which I don't know, I see other people's images and they look really good, but mine just never seem to come out right. I don't know if you can see it, but it didn't even print all the letters on my journal. I just feel like the image quality is very poor. I know it's a different processing method than like the Canon selfie, but it's convenient because it's on sticker paper. The other thing I didn't care for though is, I don't know if you can see this, it like really bent the paper, because this sticker paper tends to like bow on its own, and because this paper is so thin, it's making the entire page bow on this side. Yeah, okay. So the next day I wanted to put a picture in as well because it was my birthday, and I wanted to put in my run and what my husband made me for dinner, but I didn't want this to happen again. So what I just did is printed it up on regular printer paper and then glued it in with this. This is my Tombow permanent adhesive. I love this stuff. I get it on Amazon. I'll leave it linked down below. You just buy replacement cartridges for it. I used to use the little square sticky tabs and put them in the corner, but I noticed it started to bulk up my planner a bit, so I really like using that instead. On this page we had sushi, and we haven't had sushi in a really long time, so I went ahead and pulled out some of my Coffee Monster Co. stickers and stuck them in there. And then I have a Sterling ink sticker. I like to change up the way that I do the positive quotes at the top, and I've really been enjoying finding something every day to write and focus on. And then I finally got Zig Clean Color Dot markers. I will probably use this pink one. I took a picture of these on Instagram. I'll put it on the screen for you, but I don't know why I have been hesitating for so long. Actually, I do know why. So I pretty much just wanted a pink color, and a lot of the packages come in these really vibrant darker colors, and I wanted something more pastel. And then not only that, I really only wanted one color. I wanted pink, just to use for my little trackers like you saw in the beginning. But on Amazon, I saw these ones. Again, I'll leave the link down below, and I love the pastel colors. I'm getting used to what kind of pressure I need to put on these so that my little dots are consistent. But this is so much easier to use than my Tombow dual brush. You can also use them as highlighters, which again, I need to learn how to like hold this pen and control it because I was a mess when I made this. And that's pretty much it. That's today now. Let me go ahead and show you my trackers. I'm not loving the way these are coming out. It looks very sloppy to me. I might kind of change it up, but I normally work out 2 times a day. So I'm putting like R for run, W for walk, CT for core training, ST for strength training. And like this day I went for 2 walks, and yeah, so I don't know. I just don't like the way it looks. It doesn't look very neat, but it is doing the job. Then I have my weight tracker, which isn't making me happy right now either. And I am also keeping track of my steps, my alcohol intake. I know I haven't been doing so great lately. And then I have a check mark for every day that I close my rings, and then I have a period tracker. I also have this book challenge, and I've completed 3 books so far, but I'm not sure how I want to do this yet. I was thinking about putting like a Coffee Monster Co. sticker, one of her little book reading ones, in each of these. But I think when I went online to see if she had them, they were all sold out. So then I thought about just coloring it in with a marker every time I finish one, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I keep track of all my books and my challenge on Goodreads as well, so I know I'll be able to go back and fill this out anytime. Okay guys, I think that is it. I think that covers everything. So love the planner. It is very comfortable for me to use. My only major issue is that I wish the grids were a little bit brighter, but again, that might just be my poor eyesight. And I wish the cover was a little bit more sturdy. Oh yeah, and that these columns were a little bit wider. But other than that, this planner is perfect for me. Some of those things might not bother you, but I'm loving it, and I'm glad I didn't turn around and purchase a Hobonichi. That's what I forgot to say. When I went to go use this the first day, I was having such a hard time with it, with the whole stain and all that, that I was ready to hop online and order a Hobonichi A5 cousin. And the only thing that stopped me from making that order was that I have a rather pricey cover from Van der Spek being made right now, and it won't get here until the end of January. And for that sole reason, I decided to stay in this planner and give it a try, but I'm really happy that I did, because I think if I would have gone back to the A5 Hobonichi, it would have just been too much space for me again, and I would have had that whole struggle all over again. So I highly recommend giving this planner a try if you're looking for something new. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below. If you liked this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to be notified whenever I post a new video, make sure you hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.